Hey everybody, welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, the Valley's most detailed weather forecast video. A different day today. We had a warmer afternoon after a cool start this morning. It was definitely better than yesterday when we only hit 63 in the afternoon. Today we've made it into the upper 70s to around 80. Now, as I recorded this at about 6:54, I'm going to pause the radar loop since we're missing a couple of frames there. We had a band of showers that has formed off to our west. There's no thunder and lightning with this at the moment. Expecting limited amounts of thunder out there this evening, but yeah, some of us are going to get clipped by a little bit of rain, it looks like, before the evening is through. This is trying to line up along a warm front. Pretty easy to spot this warm front. Not only is it warmer, of course, with the front, but the moisture content of the atmosphere is increasing. It's turning a little more humid, so our front's kind of like right here. Notice the dew point in State College is in the mid-40s, but here we're in the mid-50s, and Columbus is in the mid-60s, and the dew points are near a tropical 70 degrees down towards Cincinnati. So that kind of air mass is on the move this evening. The other thing we're keeping an eye on is another night with severe weather out across the middle of the country, with tornado watches extending from the Red River on northward to southeastern Kansas, parts of Missouri, into parts of Illinois, and extreme southeastern Iowa this evening. Several tornadoes already reported in the state of Oklahoma. And actually, the Storm Prediction Center issued a moderate risk of severe weather in a stripe from northeastern Oklahoma up through central Missouri for this evening. So it's going to be a busy, busy evening out there. We've been in a low risk of severe weather throughout the day today. This product issued in the wee hours of this morning by the Storm Prediction Center, but I've never been real impressed with our severe weather chances here this evening. Garden variety thunderstorm is going to be a possibility, but I think that's a real slim chance of any sort of storm getting rowdy enough to reach severe limits. So I'm not real concerned about our weather tonight. Some showers here and there over the next few hours. A couple of leftover showers through maybe midnight or so. Then I think we're dry to kick off the day coming up tomorrow. If you're an early morning riser, we will be rain-free. But could be an interesting morning tomorrow after that dry start. I'm going to skip ahead to about daybreak or so tomorrow morning. There may be a band of showers and thunderstorms hitting western Ohio right around 6-7 a.m. Now, the big question for us is, does this survive the trip all the way across the state and into eastern Ohio? Some of our higher res modeling is showing that. Now, our in-house model here isn't real impressed, but it would suggest that, yeah, there's some showers, maybe some thunder moving into the eastern part of the state by about 10 a.m. Doesn't look very impressive on this run of this model, but I've seen some other modeling that is a little more robust with this activity mid to late morning. So that's one time period we'll keep an eye on tomorrow, second half of the morning. Any thunderstorm could be pretty strong. Now, as we transition into the afternoon, this front's going to sag in, and I think there will be a resurgence of thunderstorm activity during the afternoon, but I think a lot of this will be focused to our south, kind of initializing more like this. Again, our in-house model maybe not doing a great job with the placement of this stuff right now, but I suspect storms are going to bubble ahead of this front in places such as Zanesville, Cambridge, Pittsburgh, maybe as far north as the Route 30 corridor in Columbiana County. But the farther north you are, I think that more likely it is that you're dry tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. But any thunderstorm that does pop up, even though a lot of it may be south, could be on the strong side, perhaps even severe. Then we'll clear things out tomorrow night. Now, there is an enhanced risk of severe weather out, kind of a 3 on a 1 to 5 scale. That enhanced risk extends from the panhandle of West Virginia over towards Altoona, State College, Johnstown, Hagerstown, and down into the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, clips parts of the panhandle of Maryland as well, northern suburbs of D.C. and Baltimore included in this. We're in a slight risk for a lot of our area. I'm not going to be surprised if this is trimmed a little bit. The reason it wouldn't be trimmed is because maybe the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, is a little bit concerned about that morning activity. The morning activity may justify this risk zone through here, but that area in the afternoon I think is largely storm-free. So a lot of the places that are in a low-end risk or even a slight risk in this area are probably going to be dry, I think, for a lot of the afternoon. It's the morning that may be a little more of a concern through there. In addition to the standard hail and wind risk with some of our storms tomorrow, again, especially to our south and east, there is going to be an increased risk for some tornadic activity. This is a model run showing, pretty decent dynamics coming together for some storms that could rotate. In central PA, southern PA, parts of northern West Virginia, into the Maryland panhandle as well. Again, I don't think the risk is very high around here, especially the farther north you are, but it's something we'll keep an eye on. I think, for the morning activity, if that line is coming across and impacts us in the morning, The risk for severe weather may be a little bit elevated, but it'd be mostly just a routine wind threat. The risk of a tornado being mixed in with that, I think, is pretty low here locally. And again, I think the tornado risk as we get into the afternoon will be largely to our south and east. All right, we're going to squeeze in a nice day on Friday. It's going to be a nice end of the work week with lower humidity, comfortable temperatures, no better than the lower 70s on Friday. But then as we head into the weekend, here comes the heat. Big time warm up coming Saturday. We'll get well into the 80s. I've got 85 in the forecast. Not going to be surprised if we see 86 or 87. What about rain Saturday? I think we are dry in the morning hours on Saturday. Now, we have another one of these weak fronts approaching from the north and west. I think during the daylight hours, the focus for thunderstorm activity may be centered kind of in a zone like this. It may take until Saturday evening before any of this really reaches us. Low confidence forecast on that at this point, but as it stands right now, I would place odds on it being a more active afternoon in Toledo and Detroit than around here. Now, that being said, if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, and I know a lot of you do, Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, graduation parties, weddings, all sorts of stuff, at this point I would plan on the possibility of a shower and thunderstorm being around, perhaps even a strong one. But again, I kind of am hedging my bets towards it being a little more active out here during the daylight hours on Saturday. We'll, of course, have more updates on that as we get closer. And yeah, like I mentioned, lower dew points on Friday, but then, yeah, this is a pretty legit summertime stretch coming our way for the weekend into next week with not only warm temperatures, but elevated dew points as well, up into the upper 50s and 60s. Boy, talk about a hot Memorial Day weekend coming up in the southeastern U.S. Now, even by southeastern standards, this is hot stuff and could challenge some all-time May records in some places down here in the southeast. So, you know, these are some model numbers, and some of these may be overcooked a little bit, but they're not going to be far off. There's going to be some triple digits, I think, in a few spots. Saturday, probably again on Sunday, and then heading into Memorial Day as well. You know, a place like Charlotte, for example, the all-time May record, I think, is 98. They're going to challenge that a couple of times during this stretch. Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Columbia, Atlanta, Tallahassee, all places they're going to have a really, really hot stretch, especially by May standards, coming up. In the longer range, that ridge that's going to create all the heat in the southeast is going to get flattened some, I think, as we head into June. It doesn't look like a real chilly pattern. It's June, after all. It's not supposed to be chilly at all in June. But as we go into June, and I've mentioned this a few times on this video, I think that the ridge flattening will increase the odds of the occasional cold front coming down and knocking us back maybe to average, maybe even a little below average for a time. So early June to me does not look as warm as the last several days of May. That's the way things look right now. All right, I'll have updates this evening on our showers, possible thunder on social media, and a full update tonight on 21 News at 11. I'll see you back here tomorrow for a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks.